For section 9.2, we're going to look at measuring area and volume. So when you think area, think like land measurement. So acres, square miles. We're also going to talk about something that some of us maybe haven't heard about called a hectare. And then when it comes to volume, think about the space inside a container. That would be volume. We'll also talk about like liquid measurements. So if we have a certain amount of space inside like a tub, a pond, a pool, how many gallons of water could we hold in there? So again, area, land area, volume, the space inside a container, or also potentially some kind of like liquid capacity type measurement. Okay. But first, before we get into measuring area, we're going to talk about something called population density. Okay. So population density, again, you know how much I love, well, maybe you don't know this, but you're going to learn it as the semester progresses. I love to start with a good definition. Okay. So population density refers to the measure of how crowded a place is, specifically the number of individuals per unit of area. So if you're talking about acreage and how many people live in a certain acreage, you would say that the population density refers to the number of people living per acre. If you're talking square mileage, which is typically what we deal with when we talk about population density, we would talk about how many people live per square mile. Okay. So population density is calculated by dividing the number of individuals by the area they occupy. So if we're going to look at population density as like a formula, we'll say population density. It equals the population divided by the land area. And I believe I mentioned this in a previous video, but I have a long-standing love affair with New Jersey. I simply love the state. I love North Carolina too, but I really love New Jersey. Okay. So we're going to use New Jersey to calculate population density because New Jersey is sort of famous for being one of the most densely, if not the most densely populated state in the US. And it's interesting because there's a part of New Jersey that's like barely populated at all called the Pine Barrens. And then there's an area of New Jersey that's like so super duper densely populated that it brings the whole state's average up. So what we're going to do, for example, one, we're going to look at the population density for the most populated county. We're going to look at the population density for the least, well, I don't want to say the most populated, but the most densely populated county. Then we're going to look at the least densely populated county. And then we're going to look at the population density for New Jersey overall. Okay. So Hudson County, New Jersey has a population of 736,185 people, and it has an area of 46.2 square miles. So we want to know how many people live per square mile in Hudson County. So for the population density, we would take the population of this particular area. So it's 736,185 people. We would divide it by the land area, which is 46.2 square miles. And we just divide this on a calculator. So if you have your calculator out, go ahead and turn it on. I'll go to the virtual calculator that I have right here. Okay, so for Hudson County, we have 7,000 or 736,185 people. We have a land area of 46.2 square miles. So that tells me that the population density in Hudson County is 15,934.7 people. Let's round to the nearest person here. So we're going to say this rounds up. We're going to round up to the nearest ones place or to the next ones place. And we would say that we have 15,935. That's huge. 15,935 people per square mile. So let's go back to our worksheet. And we would say the population density for Hudson County is 15,935 people per, you can do like the little slash that means per single square mile. Now, you can write square miles as miles, like the MI, the abbreviation for miles with a little exponent of 2, or you can write it like this, square SQ for square and then MI for miles. Either one is perfectly acceptable. And if you think about this, imagine a mile. So miles, you know, it's a decent amount of length, but imagine a square that measures a mile on each side, and imagine almost 16,000 people in that square mile. That's a whole bunch of people in a really small small space. So this is why New Jersey is known as the most densely populated state. Now there's Cape May County, New Jersey. So Cape May County has a population of 93,875 people, and it has an area of 251.5 square miles. So let's figure out its population density. 93,875 people divided by 251.5 square miles. So you know how to calculate this now. I showed you on the calculator a minute ago, so you can do this on your own calculators. Let's see. We want to take 93,875 people, divide it by 251.5, and we get that the population density for Cape May County, New Jersey is, let's round up to the next person. So this one technically mathematically would round down, but we can't have, like when you look at your calculator, you get 373.26 people. We can't really have 0.26 people. So we could go ahead and just round that up to the next person, or we could round down. Let's say we round up to the next person so we have whole people. So we would say we get approximately 374 people. It's actually a little tiny bit less than that, but people per square mile. So you can imagine there's quite a bit of difference in Cape May County versus Hudson County. Hudson County, they're crammed in there like sardines. Cape May County, they got some elbow room here. Now let's look at New Jersey as a whole so you can see like how completely populated that one county is. And there's a couple of them that are really densely populated, but Hudson County is just like super, super densely populated. Now, New Jersey as a whole has a population of 9,501,851 people, and it has an area of 7,354 square miles. So the population density, 9,501,851 people, 501,851 people, divided by 7,354 square miles. And again, just use your calculator. And let's round up to the next person again. So 9,501,851 divided by 7,354. And I get 1,292. Let's go ahead. It's only 0.06. So what we end up getting is 1292.07. That's so close to not even a whole person. But let's go ahead and just round up and say 1,293 people. Because we want whole people here. We can't have like arms and legs of people. We want whole people here per square mile. So you can see that in the least populated or the least densely populated county, they have less than 400 people per square mile. For the most densely populated county, they have almost 16,000 people per square mile. But for the state as a whole, if we were to take all of the people in New Jersey and evenly distribute them throughout the land area, we would have not quite 1,300 people per square mile. Okay. So you do have to understand that this is not exact. Okay. It doesn't mean that for every square mile, if you counted, there would be exactly this many people. It just means in Hudson County, if we took every single individual in Hudson County and evenly distributed them throughout the county, there would be almost 16,000 people per square mile. In Cape May County, if we took all of the people and evenly distributed them for every square mile, we would have not quite 400 people per square mile. And for the entire state, we have pockets that are super, super, super densely populated. We have other parts that are much less densely populated. But if we took all the people in New Jersey and evenly distributed them throughout the whole 7,354 square miles, we would have not quite 1,300 people per square mile. All right. So that is population density. We talk about it now because it kind of goes into this idea of land area, which is going to be the next topic that we talk about.